the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. Very, very short, stubby little 12 gauge shotgun. This is also offered in 20 gauge as well as 410, but we're going to be talking about the 12 gauge. Barrel length is 14.375 inches. It is heavy walled. Cylinder bore choke. The capacity is 5+1, 12 gauge rounds. Overall length is 26.37 inches. We have what they call their Raptor grip down here. Corncob forend with a strap. This is how the gun comes stock. I did not add or adjust anything to this, although you certainly could, of course. Retails at $549, although I've seen these for typically about $100 less, so around the $450 range. Possibly a little bit less than that you can get these for. But if you're unfamiliar with these, the first thing you may notice is that this is very, very stubby. It's a stubby, short little shotgun. There's no stock on it. We only have a handle. And again, this is what they call the Raptor grip. It does not come down at 90 degrees. Absolutely love this grip right here. Have you ever fired a 12 gauge shotgun with a pistol grip with no stock, your shoulder not absorbing any of that recoil? It is hell on your wrist. But this design right here, it's essentially what the standard Mossberg stock grip, if this had a stock, is something like. But you just took the stock off. Just the position of it, because it's not coming down nearly at 90 degrees, it just absorbs so much more of that recoil, or at least your wrist is not taking all of it. A lot more of it is going into your forearm instead. 14-inch barrel right here. You may be familiar with the federal law that states a shotgun barrel cannot be anything below 18 inches, 18.5 inches, something like that. We have a 14-inch barrel here. So how in the hell is this legal to buy? And own, and use for that matter? Well, because according to federal law, it's technically not a shotgun. Even though it is. It's just not by their definition. Because the gun's overall length is over 26 inches, because the barrel is not rifled, and because there's no stock here, with all of those checkboxes ticked, this is not a shotgun, it's not a pistol, it's not a rifle, it's not an AOW, meaning any other weapon. So that makes this gun perfectly legal. Check your local and state laws just to be sure, but for where I am in Colorado, in the United States, this is 100% legal. I like how we have a very short barrel right here, and without the stock, it doesn't really get a whole lot more compact than this for shotguns. As far as 12 gauge is concerned, I wouldn't want to go any shorter than this. Not by much anyway. The recoil starts getting really bad. I think this is right in the sweet spot if you want a very, very compact home defense shotgun. You want to shave off as much length as possible. Don't get me wrong, I like having a stock. It certainly helps for aim, it certainly helps for control, and I certainly like having the longer barrel, increasing this by a good 4 or 5 inches or so will certainly tighten the spread and will certainly increase your velocity, etc. But when we're talking about home defense, I feel like even anything longer than this can get a little bit unnecessary. We're talking shooting somebody who's in the same room as you. It's probably not exactly necessary to have a really, really big old long shotgun for that. Everybody's preferences are different, everybody's uses are different, but I say for home defense in the average household, even a big house, this will do just fine. And because we remove some of the length, you're not going to have as many issues turning around corners, going into different rooms. I think this is right in the sweet spot. It's the perfect length for a home defense weapon. Really, the only disadvantage as far as that is concerned is because the stock is not here, because we don't have one, your accuracy and aim is going to be a lot lower if you're not used to firing from a gun like this. You cannot press this up against your shoulder. You can either shoot this by your waist, you can aim as if it has a stock, like imagine it's there, but there actually is no stock. There's various techniques you can do, but it will take some practice. If you're not used to firing any non-pistol for that matter without a stock, you do have to train with these things. It's a little goofy at first not shooting with the stock. It's like a spray and pray kind of deal. You have to get out and shoot these things. It'll take a while, but once you do it for a good amount of time, eventually you're naturally going to start being able to aim these things without even perfectly aiming down the sights. You won't have to bring this up to eye level or anything. At a certain point, you can get good at shooting this around your waist area, maybe slightly above that, around where your belly is. A lot of recoil, but it's not going to break your wrist or anything, especially with this grip. I think it's the perfect weight, the perfect size. And for being in the home, I really don't think you need a barrel much longer than this, especially for a 12 gauge shotgun. Double-aught buck coming out of this thing, even if you're 10 yards away from the other dude, they are going down. We also have this style safety mechanism on the top. We haven't seen that. Red dot means fire. If you don't see it, it means the safety is engaged. I do like this. It's very, very positive. It's very tight, very easy to see. A lot of the Mossbergs, as far as I know, sometimes do have a cross bolt down here. I prefer this. It's just a little bit more visible. Some people don't like how these are loose, how they automatically engage when they fire sometimes. I hear complaints about that occasionally, but that's not normal. They're not supposed to be doing that. Personally, I've never experienced that. Maybe an abused shotgun or maybe a very, very heavily used one. Maybe if this loosened up, that would do that. But I'm certain you could just tighten that back down. There is a flathead screw right there. So if you're not familiar, the way this works, it is tube fed down here. So we're going to load it with some snap caps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. Ugh. That is our capacity. I'll prove it. Here's a 6th one. Doesn't want to go in. So now that it's loaded, I'm going to pump that in. Now it would fire. 5 plus 1, if you're not familiar, means after we load the first one, we can load in another. So now we have a total of 6 rounds in this gun. If you're going to keep this gun loaded like that with a round chambered in here, I would certainly engage that safety. And if that dark and rainy day ever came, somebody broke into your house, you had to defend yourself, had to get rid of them, then you would just disengage that safety. And as soon as you pull that trigger, it's going to fire. For the additional shot, pump all the way back, the spent shell will excrete, and then the new shell will be caught by the little basket down here, whatever you want to call that, and you pump that guy in. Repeat. So we have a total potential of 6 of these normal size 12 gauge shells to fit in this gun at a time. But normally I would just keep the tube filled, safety off, and then not have a round chambered. That's one way to do it, but some people want as much ammo as possible. They would prefer to have the barrel chambered as well as a full tube magazine filled with the safety on. I love this strap right here too. So handy. And again, it comes with it that way. If you want, you can exchange this out for a foregrip. I'm kind of thinking about doing that myself. I would just leave this hand alone. Again, I love this Raptor style grip right here. It's just a dream to shoot this thing. You might think, 12 gauge shotgun with no stock, isn't that going to hurt your wrist? Yeah, if you have a 90-degree one, but something like this, I guarantee you, if you haven't tried one of these yet, it's heaven. It is heaven on your wrist, at least for me. Bead sight right here, like a lot of Mossbergs. Kind of wish it was a fiber optic. I'm just a sucker for those things, but this works just fine as well. And then you can attach a sling from here to here if you wish to do that as well. As far as shotguns are concerned, it's very, very simple. It's relatively affordable. Again, $400, $450 at the most, maybe $500 range. It's a pump. Pump actions are very, very simple machines. It's very hard to mess them up. They, as far as I've seen, never malfunction pretty much. That's going to get into the whole semi-auto versus manual shotgun debate. I'm not going to talk about that for this video anyway, but as long as you have positive strokes all the way back and all the way forward, you will not have any problems loading new rounds and extracting the old ones, I say. The choke being cylinder right here means you're going to get maximum spread, which again, for a home defense gun, that's what you want. For the barrel being so short, you're also going to increase your spread a little bit more too. Again, home defense, I say that's what you want. I like how short and compact and lightweight it is for being a shotgun. Relatively affordable. Very simple. I love the safety mechanism on it. Had no problems with this thing out of all the hundreds and hundreds of rounds of use of this gun. I've had a lot of different Mossbergs and Mavericks go through my hands over the years. It's essentially the same design. It's just as if you sawed off the barrel here and removed the stock, and then you're left with this. Now, do not take a full-size shotgun with an 18-inch barrel that came with a handle with a stock, saw off the barrel, and then saw it off yourself, because now you're going to go to prison. Now that's illegal. But if you get it straight from the factory like this, you're A-okay, and you're no longer a criminal. Gun laws make no sense. So overall, it's one of my favorite shotguns ever for being so simple. You're just going to have to get out and practice with these things if you're not used to firing a long gun with no stock. Now, keep in mind, it is a shotgun, so it's not that hard to aim with these things, so long as you're not firing slugs out of it. But once you get good in practice with that, I think it totally is worth having the shorter overall length. Because again, there's plenty of power in these things, even with having a slightly shorter barrel, to take down any attacker. Anyway, that's it. That's the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. Great shotgun. I don't know if I would recommend it for beginners if you've never fired a 12 gauge shotgun before, if you've never owned one before. Maybe I would not start with this one. Again, because we don't have a stock, aiming is going to be considerably more tricky. That's going to take a long time to practice. You can get a full-size shotgun, 18.5-inch barrel with a stock. It'll be a lot easier to shoot, and you technically will get more velocity out of it. You'll get a tighter spread. Potentially, you can hold more in the magazine tube if they actually make the tube go all the way up to the barrel. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think it's silly when they don't, but whatever. You cannot get any more rounds out of this size gun unless they increase the magazine tube without increasing the barrel. But if you want to go for it anyway, this is like the exact size you're looking for. You don't want a big old long shotgun. Maybe you're not really comfortable with a handgun for defense. You want that power. Maybe this would be a great choice for you to be right in the sweet spot, but you have to get out and practice aiming with this style gun, because otherwise you're going to be missing, and that's not a good thing to do. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos, and feel free to support me on Patreon, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.